What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So welcome to part 2 of why is Trinidad so rich, but yet feels so poor. Now, Trinidad and Tobago has a GDP of 25 billion to 30 billion US dollars, and only 1.4 million people in it on average. On paper, that sounds like a rich country, or it should be, if you did the maths. But the poverty, crime, and hopelessness we see every day is indeed diabolical. So the question is, where is all this wealth going, and why aren't the people of Trinidad seeing any real benefits from it? And of course, when I say Trinidad, I do mean Trinidad and Tobago. One of my favorite economists, Richard D. Wolff, he's an American professor, and he broke this down to me once in a way that I understood. And he said that the capitalist system we live in is not just about making money, it's about who controls the wealth. And in our case, it's not the average Trinidadian. It's a small elite of business owners, political friends, and foreign investors that seem to take the lion's share of the wealth in Trinidad and Tobago, leaving us, you, the people, the working class, with scraps. This is predominantly what happens. That is the capitalist system that we currently live in. So let's be real. In Trinidad and Tobago, the profits from our oil and gas, for the most part, leaves the country. It does not stay within the confines of our country. On top of that, the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes because they're given loopholes and tax havens and offshore accounts, etc. There is no serious reinvestment into communities in Trinidad and Tobago, meaning our schools, our education system, our healthcare system, the roads, etc., etc. And most people don't have a voice in the economy. They are simply trying to survive. And that's not just bad luck. That's a system designed to keep the wealth locked in at the top and keep you hoping for some cash to trickle down at the bottom. And yes, oftentimes we see some development going, we see them building a new road, or we see them doing this or doing that. It's generally happening around election time, because the rich would like to have a certain government in place so the money trickles down for them to pass the money on to the working class. So I'll go back to saying, if you need real change, you need to flip the power structure. We need to flip the power structure, not just in Trinidad, throughout the world and throughout the Caribbean. Richard Wolff talked about worker-owned businesses, not just working for someone else, the workers owning the businesses. That's called socialism. But a worker-owned business means that you will have a share of the business that you work for, that you work to create, rather than the money going to the top 1%, the one single owner of the business. Talks about taxing the super elite. That money is then reinvested back into our economy to build, like I said before, our schools, our roads, our education system, young entrepreneurship, etc., etc. This is what needs to be done in the Caribbean. This is what needs to be done in Trinidad. We need to stop giving the super wealthy a free ride. Corruption plays a part in that as well. Free healthcare and education should be at the core of any community, any country. Free healthcare and education should be at the core of any community and any country. This is what tax is for, to reinvest back into our community, to build our broken infrastructure. So you're probably asking yourself, what can I do? I'm just one man. Richard Wolff talks about, I'm not saying that you should, but he talks about starting small businesses like farming or setting up a food delivery company or a car parts company, for etc. Those are just ideas he's put out there for people to do. I'm not saying necessarily that you need to go out and do that. I know how difficult those things are to do, but those are just some ideas that if we lived in a fair world, that the working class would have the ability to get a loan to start a small business, whether it be farming or agriculture or whatever you do decide to do. Unfortunately, the difficulty in even getting a loan to start a business in places like Trinidad is just ridiculous. So we need to speak up, we need to organize, we need to demand transparency, we need to demand taxes on the rich, we need to demand better from our politicians. We have an election coming up. Everyone's trying to sweeten you up with what they're going to do and how they're going to fix things. But they need to be held to account. They need to be held accountable for the words that they say. So I created this channel to try and open your eyes, not just to the system and how it works, but how we can, as a people, change it. So share this video, comment your thoughts, and let's start building an economy that works for everyone, not just the super elites. Because if we don't build a new system, we stay trapped in the old one. And I know you feel helpless, and I sometimes look at the system and feel helpless myself, but I can't do this without you. You can't do this without me. So if we came together, we could change the system. And that's it. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, much love. Take care. Peace.